You are listening to Smooth Traffic, episode 48. Smooth Traffic, the Chris Akabusi of podcasts. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about the hit video game F1 2017, only about a year late. We've got a Johnny on Art segment because for some reason you guys really like that, and we're going to talk about a car or two cars that I'm getting over the course of the next month that you lot might be interested in because, yeah, I still do cars. Also, I've got a new job. So that's good, isn't it? And yeah, we're just going to do what we normally do, which is take the piss out of each other and talk nonsense.
So, Johnny, I've spent the last goodness knows how many years of my own life telling you to sort your life out.
Yeah.
And I understand that you've finally taken steps to put a plan into place. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I've tried. I've got myself a new job.
Working the streets?
Well, I've given that up. Now, I don't have to work the streets anymore.
When you say a new job, John, that kind of implies you had a job beforehand?
Gosh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll let you carry on.
Oh, yeah, a bit harsh.
I'll save my mockery until afterwards then.
Yeah, well, I'm joining Synergy Automotive as the new content editor for them, and they're a really, really good leasing firm up in Yorkshire, where I now live, and they've got a brilliant reputation in delivering great deals for customers and getting really, really good customer feedback from that as well. So the next step for them is to grow and get bigger, and for that they need a content editor, and for that they decided to hire me for the job, which is great news. So I'll be working probably eventually full time at Synergy as the content editor, doing content, editing content, and making sure the content is hopefully quite good. So that's my new proper job now.
So it's good to hear that you know what the job is.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's good news, and I'm really looking forward to getting started. And yeah, it'd be nice to get out of freelance writing, which has proven to be a complete pain in the backside, basically.
So you were writing about cars. Now you're going to quit that to write about cars.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happened, which is quite me in a way. So yeah, no, it's really, really good news, and I'm looking forward to getting started, and we'll see where it leads. It'll be a long-term project, I think. Whether they want me there long-term, we'll find out, won't we? But hopefully they do, and hopefully it goes really well. And
we'll find out in about a week, I'd have thought, if they want you there long-term.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
To be fair, though, we didn't want you on the podcast long-term, but you stuck around, so maybe they'll find the same thing.
Yeah, I think
you're a difficult man to get rid of.
I think even like when Kingy first met me, I was only meant to be a short-term fix for the football team, wasn't I?
Yep.
And then I just sort of hung around, and he couldn't get rid of me. And now he's been stuck with me. And then I met you, and you've both been stuck with me. So
you're a bit like syphilis, really.
I've not got experience in that, King. Tell us more.
Only King, who lives in such a Victorian town, would use syphilis as an example.
Well, I wanted to put it into words that you'd understand, John, because whenever you have something negative to say about someone, you just compare them to an STD. So I thought, in order to speak your language, I would compare you to an STD.
I thought syphilis was what a butterfly emerged from, anyway.
Oh, I think we need to revisit the Johnny's Learning Annex and get some more primary school science out for you.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I've got a science fact for you. That I was looking at science facts before we started the podcast today.
Christ.
So the science fact is, I've copied it and now I'm pasting it in the chat that we have. Okay, so if you took twice the mass of the sun and compacted it into the size of Los Angeles, that's how dense a neutron star is. So basically, a cubic meter of a neutron star would weigh just under 400 billion tons, which is approximately the same weight as all the water in the Atlantic Ocean.
Good fact.
That is a good fact. I don't know why you sent us that on WhatsApp and then just read it out anyway.
It's so I could read it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can I ask you a question, John?
Yeah, okay.
Do you understand that fact?
Not really.
Okay. Well, just know it is a good fact. Well done.
I think density...
Yeah.
And I know you talk about density when I'm around quite a lot, King. But
yeah.
What they're saying there is basically... The sun is quite big, isn't it? It's like several thousand times bigger than Earth or something like that, isn't it? It's massive.
Yeah, it is massive, John, in comparison to the Earth.
It's a big old lump of fire. And if you squashed all that big old lump of fire twice, because you've got two of them, into the size of Los Angeles, and then took a cubic metre of Los Angeles, it would weigh 400 billion tonnes.
Yeah.
That's quite a lot, isn't it?
It is.
Well, there you go. That's, in a way, this has been another episode of Johnny's Learning Annex, isn't it? Because I've learned to sort my life out one step at a time.
I don't think you've learned anything in that respect. You've just started sorting your life out.
No, I think I've completed it now. A bit like
steady.
A bit like how I've completed mini golf by consistently beating both of you all the time. And
I'll tell you what, John. I'll admit that you've completed sorting your life out once you've passed the inevitable probationary period of the job that you've just accepted.
Okay, deal. I'll try and behave a while, just so I can hear you admit that. And neutron stars, eh? Quite dense.
Congratulations, Johnny.
Yeah, I'm very pleased for you, genuinely.
Thank you. It's been a challenging. Well, it's probably been a bit worse than challenging, actually. Let's just say how it is. It's been a shit 12 months or so. So to get a secure position with a bunch of people who are, one, really, really good at what they do, but two, really decent as well. Really decent, nice people who want to do something good and be excellent, is a really nice thing. And it's a nice fresh start for me, because having moved from Devon, because I wasn't ever really that happy in Devon, and neither were my family, to be honest. We just didn't enjoy being in Devon. It's not as bad as Cornwall, but then again, nothing really is. I mean, it's on a par with the sort of nuclear disaster, isn't it, Cornwall? But yeah, so it's nice to have moved out to a nice new area and met lots of nice people, and now I've got a fresh start in a really exciting role, and I think I'm joining the company at a really good time as well. So yeah, maybe if they like me enough, they'll sponsor this podcast. What about that? Maybe I can bribe them.
If you secure sponsorship for this podcast, then I will definitely say you've sorted your life out.
And will you buy me a sandwich?
No.
Okay.
Every time, John, I'm not buying you another bloody sandwich.
I'm less interested now in
You've eaten enough of the fucking things over the last 12 months.
What can I say? I like cheese and ham. Cheese and ham and pickle. What's your favourite sandwich, King?
Ham, cheese and pickle is a very good shout, to be fair.
That's a good sandwich. Ben, I bet you just have lettuce, don't you?
Lettuce? No.
Yeah.
I reckon Ben's a BLT man.
Nope. Lettuce.
Yeah. What? BLT?
Just an L.
No. And can I have LLL, please? All right.
Triple stack lettuce, sir. Yes, please.
Do you want any butter on that? No. Just lettuce.
Have you seen that vegan sandwich Waitrose are selling now? That
No.
is basically lettuce in bread.
Huh.
Have you ever seen that?
You might as well just get an iceberg lettuce and a stick and just eat it like a lollipop.
That sounds like something you might do at a fair or a carnival, like sort of a, one of those sugary apple things.
Yeah, like a vegan toffee apple. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm now scrolling through the list of sandwiches at Waitrose. Right.
Couldn't you
Good
just
to
Google
go.
it?
Well, I have, but the whole list of sandwiches have come up. Brie and bacon is a good shout, by the way.
I don't think it tops ham, cheese and pickle.
No?
No.
I'm not sure about that, King. What about vegan spicy vegetable curry?
Get out.
Yep, that's what I thought. That's £3.20 as well.
There is a vegan one here, look, because I found it by just searching for it. Sweet potato and chipotle.
Yeah, it's not that, it's worse than that.
I was going to say that sounded nice.
No, it doesn't.
Ben's a vegan.
Yeah, he's a fucking vegan, isn't he?
I love sweet potato.
I actually do love, you know how much I love sweet potato, but no, this was worse. It was literally all greens in a sandwich. It looked like the end of the world. Oh, come on, where is it?
I feel like this isn't worth the wait.
No, it definitely is. Oh no, it's not on the list anymore. Okay, they got rid of it.
So, episode 47, we recorded our World Cup preview.
Yeah.
We just thought we'd talk about some of the exciting things that have happened so far at the World Cup, haven't we? So, I mean, John, you wanted to touch on that amazing result for Russia.
Yeah, 9-0.
Yeah,
and a hat-trick for Vladimir Putin in the first half, inside 3 minutes.
Incredible, really.
Remarkable.
It was surprising to see so many bodyguards on the pitch at once.
Yeah, I did think that was potentially an abuse of the rules, but it is in Russia, and, rules in Russia are like...
Rules.
No, not really. Things that have happened.
Like spaghetti.
Yeah, They're like spaghetti. Rules in Russia are like spaghetti.
Very malleable.
Yes.
Cooked spaghetti, then. We need to be more specific.
Oh, yeah, good point. They're like hard pasta.
Yeah. Rock hard pasta.
Yeah, you can break them, but you can't bend them. Actually, that probably works better.
Yeah, Ben, get back in your box. Your penalty box. Football reference.
What else happened? Gareth Southgate dislocated his shoulder while out for a run. Obviously, unlike the players, if a manager gets injured, you don't just instantly replace them with someone that's on the waiting list. But what if you could?
Yep, replaced by Tim Sherwood.
What a hero.
Wouldn't that be great if Tim Sherwood took over from Gareth Southgate and then won the World Cup?
No!
Imagine Tim Sherwood carrying around the World Cup. Oh, I'd love to see that.
I mean, it would sum Tim Sherwood up.
What do you mean?
Well, someone's done all the legwork and then he's just come in and been like, oh, look what I've done. I found Harry Kane. No, you didn't. You didn't, you fucking moron. Harry Kane had been knocking around in their youth teams for years before this, and you've just come along and gone, I'll just chuck him in. Look, I found him. I made it myself.
If God forbid Gareth Southgate fell down the stairs and put himself in a coma and Tim Sherwood came in and won the World Cup by winning every game for England...
Yeah, I would be livid.
And you'd still think he just picked it up and he did half a job.
Well, yeah, because he's just taken the team... You know, what you're saying, John, is that Gareth Southgate has prepared the team and he then falls down the stairs and Tim Sherwood has to take over. For some reason, why it wouldn't be someone that's already part of the England setup, I don't know. But anyway...
Tim Sherwood's
what you're
the best man
saying...
for the job.
Yeah, he's not the best man for any job. But
why don't you like Sherwood?
There's just something about him, Ben.
He sounds like a nice guy.
When? He doesn't even know what a fucking gilet is.
Me and Ben found Tim Sherwood to be a very nice guy when we interviewed him recently.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And, yeah. We thought he was a really nice, sound chap.
Okay.
And, yeah, we asked him a few questions and...
Are you now going to play this interview, perchance?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
We have interviewed Tim Sherwood in honour of your birthday, Kings. We thought you'd like something big on smooth traffic for your birthday.
Yeah.
And we couldn't think of anything better than to interview one of the world's leading coaches in the form of Tim Sherwood.
Okay. Was this before or after you flew to Africa to do your little tour? It's just out of curiosity.
It was just before. I pretty much had time to interview Tim alongside Ben, and then I went to Heathrow and took my flight to Egypt.
Right.
King is steaming now, I'm sure of it.
Come on then. Send me the file. Let's have a listen. I cannot wait. I love to know which one of you's done the impression of Tim Sherwood.
What?
How do you know we've done an impression of Tim Sherwood, King? Maybe we actually spoke to Tim Sherwood.
A, because I know that you didn't fucking go to South Africa. Or any other part of Africa.
Prove it.
Unbelievable.
And
Prove
B...
We had that music in the background and everything. It was definitely there.
Yeah, King, didn't you hear the giraffe?
And B, as much as I dislike Tim Sherwood... that is not the sound of a giraffe. As much as I do not like Tim Sherwood, there is no way that he would take the time to speak to you pair of fucking goons.
Well,
definitely would.
Have a listen, King. And, I think you'll find he did speak to us. And
all right.
This is what happened. Well, thank you so much, Tim Sherwood, for allowing us to interview you here on Smooth Traffic. Just thanks for joining us, Tim.
It's an honour.
So I guess the first thing I want to ask you is, what do you think it takes for someone like Kingy to do the 12 donut challenge that he did?
Guts, character, spirit to be able to do that.
Yeah, I agree with that. But he's not quite so friendly to you. Oh, you once said that you were How does that make you feel?
That's me. Listen, I ain't going to forget about this.
Now, obviously, me and you and, well, all of us go back quite a long way, Tim. Do you remember that time when you came to see us play football at that tournament? And we ground out a 1-0 and I kept a clean sheet. I just wondered what you thought about that match, because I've never had a chance to ask you before.
I thought his team were very good and showed a lot of class. It's a shame he don't either.
I think he winds a lot of people up, to be fair.
Yeah.
So you're not the only one there. What do you think about his little wave he does?
What, that? Waving goodbye like that? I think it lacks class. No, why would anyone do that?
No class at all. No, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, we know that Kingy's got a lack of class, really, because he plagiarises that Channel 4 segment for Dictionary Corner. I guess you've heard it by now. I just wondered what your thoughts were on it.
I ain't taking no notice in it. No notice whatsoever.
Yeah, to be honest, I wish I didn't have to pay attention to it either.
But, yeah, apparently it's improved our download numbers. Don't you think that's partly down to him?
Not at all, no. It's just luck.
While we're on the subject of podcast segments, Tim, I just wanted to ask you about my new segment, Edge on Art, and if you've ever heard a better podcast segment in your life.
None at all. None at all.
So yeah, I mean, I know he's been to the Louvre, but surely someone else could do a better job than Johnny.
That guy's an expert.
You see, Tim, this motivation is what makes you such a great manager. Thank you so much. And as we know, this is King's 42nd birthday. He can't have many left in him. I'm just wondering, do you think this could be King's final birthday?
Nah, there was not really. No, and you know what? If it is, life goes on.
Well, maybe for us, I suppose. I mean, if he gets to 50, or even closer to 50, do you think we should buy him a one-way ticket to Switzerland?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. I think that would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, he does have incredibly high blood pressure, and he doesn't have a toilet seat either. That's got to play a part. And that just leaves me thinking, I wonder what his life insurance is worth.
£100.
That's the fact. If you talk to people and know, that's the fact.
Sounds pretty conclusive. So what are your final thoughts on our podcast then?
I've enjoyed it, it's been great. And long may it continue,
Well, we won't keep you too long, Tim. Thanks ever so much for doing this interview. We know you're a busy man, being one of the greatest football managers of all time. And, just thank you. Thanks for coming along. Told you we interviewed him.
Fact. Wow.
That actually happened. We interviewed Tim Sherwood for you, King, for your birthday. So happy birthday.
Well, thanks, guys. I mean, what I will say is that the production levels on the Africa audio was much better than that.
Unbelievable.
Whereas that one, it was quite obvious that you just spliced bits from other interviews that he'd done.
What a horrendous team member you are, King. Always so negative and putting us down all the time.
Chucking out accusations.
In the last episode, I said that I was really impressed by the effort you'd put into that Africa bit.
Yeah, sarcastically. At least Tim Sherwood knows how to motivate us.
Motivate you? He was just a miserable bastard.
He loved it. He's a great man. I love him.
Oh, he's seething now.
So yeah, Gareth Southgate to be sacked and Tim Sherwood to replace him as England manager and to go on and win the World Cup. How exciting is that going to be? Oh, and happy birthday, King.
I'll be 32, not 42. You utter...
He's grumpier than Tim Sherwood.
He is.
Yeah, I've got a Jaguar arriving this week. It is the Jaguar F-Type. So nice, sexy sports car. But it's the one with the 2-litre turbo petrol engine. So it should be really interesting to see if an F-Type can still feel fun and sporty and luxurious with a fairly ordinary engine. I think it's still putting out around 300 horsepower. So it's a nice, punchy, powerful turbo engine. And it'll be a lot lighter than the V6 or the V8. So there's potential there for it to be a really, really good car. But I think it's really expensive still. I think the test model coming is £65,000.
Crumbs.
Which is an awful lot of money for an engine like that.
For a 2-litre engine?
Yeah, I'd want a V6 for that sort of money, really. But, I mean, you can get a very, very nice Porsche for £65,000. Nice Cayman with a 6-cylinder engine, probably.
In terms of what you're expecting from this car, are you going to look at it from a mileage point of view at all, or are you just purely looking at the sporty nature and whether it'll match up to the V6 and V8?
I think I'm going to... I mean, mostly I'm going to be,
hooning around.
Yeah, hooning it and, asking the question about whether it's fun and as fun as, the V6 I've driven before. But I think the economy aspect of it is also quite important because there's plenty of people who would like a Jaguar F-Type, but without F-Type running costs. Because the V6 is quite good efficiency-wise, but it won't be as good as the 2-litre probably. And it certainly, will be a lot better than the supercharged V8. Which is just pure petrol burning machine. So, yeah, I think I'll try and look at it from both ways. I think this could be the most practical F-Type if you're going to own one.
Yeah.
I've only got it for 5 days, so I will try and spend a lot of time with it next weekend. I think just take it out and about around Yorkshire. Should be nice as long as the weather's good. It should be a really nice area to drive around because this is my first press car I've had since I've been in Yorkshire, so I still haven't really got routes planned and stuff like I did back in Devon, where I had specific test routes and specific roads I would drive cars down to get a more consistent report, but there is some really, really nice roads up here, and some very, very good sporty kind of roads to drive down as well. And visibility here is also really, really good because the hedgerows are quite low, and the roads can be quite straight as well. So Yorkshire's more like Spa in terms of like flowing corners and straights and quite high speed sections and stuff, whereas Devon was a bit more like
Monaco.
I was going to say the Hungaro ring. Sort of twistier,
Okay.
and it's still got the odd straight bit where it's quite fast, but twistier and more of a pain in the arse and bumpier. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting it, seeing what it's like. It'll be on influx.co.uk at some point in July, I imagine. Interestingly, I don't know what's going to happen in the future with the outlets that I have for writing now, because Drive Tribe sacked all of their freelancers, so thanks a lot for that, Drive Tribe. And Influx, I think I'm still going to be doing odd bits for Influx now and then, just about classic cars and rarer cars, things like that. But I think they'll be rarer than perhaps before in my new role. So you might see me writing and talking about more sensible cars in the future. But in the leasing industry, we've also got a slight more leaning towards luxury marques, because luxury marques turn out to be really, really good value lease-wise. Most cars are better value lease-wise, but the luxury marques, especially sort of Audi, BMW, Jaguar, those sorts of cars come out really, really well on lease deals. So might be talking more about those sorts of things than the saucy stuff, because the other car I've got coming is the Jaguar R8 RWS, the limited edition, one of 999.
Do you mean the Audi R8?
What did I call it?
Jaguar R8.
Yes, the Jaguar R8. Definitely. Yeah, the Audi R8. Well spotted, King. And that's coming at the end of the month as well. So looking forward to seeing what that's like. But I think there'll be a lot less driving of those sorts of cars in the future. So enjoy it while you can. If you even do enjoy, reading the drivel that I put out. If you don't worry about it.
This is Edge on Art. I know everything about art. I've been to the Louvre.
Right, Johnny, today I have another bit of art for you.
Nice.
People seem to like listening to you Twitter on about art, so there we go.
Yeah.
This is a nice piece from the Tate Modern by
a
chap called Pablo, Mr. Picasso, and the piece of work is The Weeping Woman.
Oh, okay. I actually like Picasso, so this will be enjoyable for me, I think.
So it's from 1937.
Yeah, look at that. That is a solid painting. You know what? It's a mess, isn't it? It's an absolute mess. But you know what? When women cry, what do they look like, King? An absolute mess. So he's absolutely nailed that.
The views of Johnny Edge do not necessarily represent those of Smooth Traffic.
the contortion of the faces, the whole drama of when women cry. That all comes out in the face of this woman here. I like how he's kind of merged the hand into the face as well, because a lot of the times when you see women cry, and believe me, I've made lots of women cry, you can see their hands almost go inside their face, and you know what? He's nailed the moment here, because it's colourful, like the language of an upset woman when she calls you all the names under the sun. And it's got the messy kind of angular look of the contortions of the face, and the sort of the just the mess of it all. When they get upset about nothing, what a mess that all is. So really big fan of that painting. But I like Picasso generally. Anyway, one of my favourite paintings is Guernica. So I'm obviously going to be on the side of Picasso. I think that's a really, really good piece of art. And you know what? I'd buy it.
Would you? How much is it worth?
Yeah, how much would you buy it for, John?
Probably a few million quid.
Just a few.
Really?
Yeah.
You do realise how much it's worth, though?
It's a Picasso, so it's probably over 10 million, isn't it? Picasso's now, aren't they? About 10 billion, something like that? Or is it more than that?
Well, you're the expert. You tell me.
Well,
yeah, John.
As we know, I'm an
fucking expert
purely on interpreting art. I don't value art because I'm not involved in things like valuations and insurance, or the boring world of finance, Ben, which you happen to be cradling inside the womb of. I would say it's worth many millions of pounds, and I would buy it for many millions of pounds. And you know what, Ben? I wouldn't let you see it. I'd hang it up, and when you came round, I'd cover it, so you wouldn't be able to see it.
Good. I didn't want to come round and visit anyway.
You're not the only one to say that.
Well, I've just had a quick Google, John, and I can tell you
Oh,
that a Picasso was sold in 2006, also of Dora Maar, who is the subject
The
of
muse.
that painting.
Yeah.
Dora Maar with her cat. And that was apparently sold for $95.2 million.
So about £10 million then. That's about right, isn't it?
So-
Exchange rate.
Yeah?
You might be slightly out with that, but
Oh, really, Ben? Why don't you tell us more about the interesting world of finance, Ben? I'm sure we'd all love to hear about that during the exceptional segment that is about art and creativity and passion and all of the great things that great artists embody. Not calculators, Ben. Not spreadsheets, Ben. Not overpriced shirts with stripes on.
I've as much as I'm enjoying this, John, apparently another Picasso, Les Femmes d'Alger,
Oh yeah.
sold at auction in 2015 for $179 million. And at the time, that was the most expensive painting sold at auction.
Yeah, I bought that. It's in my wardrobe. Why do you think I've not had any money for the last few years? Made 180 million quid working in pharmacy, and now I blew it all on a painting, and now I'm slowly working my way back up.
It's a very interesting point, actually, John, because you do have a penchant for just blowing through money when you have it.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if you did have some secret art collection, and
Yeah.
that's where all your money had been going.
I do own two pictures. One of them is the Picasso, and
Right.
the other one is a cheap canvas I got in a home shop, which was about 15 quid, and it's of Grand Central Station, New York, in the 1930s, which is currently on the floor because I don't have a hook to hang it up with yet.
I'd love to see that once you've got both of those up on the wall. The juxtaposition of a $180 million painting next to a 15 quid canvas that you bought from a shop.
Yeah, it should be quite funny actually. But you know what? I think I might leave the train one on the floor because that's how I feel about public transport. It should be on the floor, you know.
Or you could hang it in the
Spit on.
bathroom,
Yeah,
because that's where you do all your shits.
yeah. I mean, I could, or I could just shit on it and make my own artistic statement. But
Shit on it and then throw it in Ben's shed.
Well, have you heard of the piece of art called Artist's Shit or Artist's Feces?
No.
An artist actually shat in cans and sold the cans, and the cans are worth a hell of a lot of money. But the thing is with that art is nobody actually knows if it's actually shit inside the tin or not, because nobody wants to devalue their art by opening the tin and making it worthless. So the joke's on the buyer really, because it's tinned artist shit, proving that, you know, making that point that anyone will buy anything that artists make, and it's, you know, it's considered art. But also, you don't actually know if you've actually bought that. It could just be a tin with some sort of weight in it, you know. It's very interesting.
To use an incredibly overused reference in this day and age, it's like Schrodinger's shit then, really.
Yeah, I think he used a cat king, but yeah, yeah.
Wonderful. Just wonderful.
please like and subscribe to the podcast, and we will pick one lucky winner to receive a tin.
And if you don't like and subscribe, I'm going to come and do it in your shed anyway. So, you know.
And if you'd like to sponsor the podcast, John will be selling those tins separately as well.
The first Smooth Traffic merchandise is shit in a tin. That would be
And you can
perfect,
have
wouldn't
your
it?
sponsor logo on the side of that tin.
It's a slight deviation from the usual, which is us shitting in your ears, basically.
Oh, Christ. This is definitely a new low point in Smooth Traffic history, isn't it?
Not even close, mate.
But no, it's not. I don't think it is, though, because we're talking about art, and it's fine to talk about anything when you talk about art. So yeah, shit in a tin. That's art.
So we haven't spoken about any gaming in a while, and I understand that you've been playing a lot of F1 2017 recently, John.
Yeah, because I've basically been unemployed, I had to find something to do with my life. And so I became a professional Formula One driver in my head. And I joined the Renault F1 team on career mode on F1 2017 on PS4, which is last year's game, so this review is fucking old. But
No, but the new game isn't out yet, so...
yeah, so it's still relevant. And you know
Yeah.
what? You can pick it up cheap. And in this game, there's no halos. So, you know, slightly better views from the TV pod camera. Really, really good game. Really, really enjoyed it. At first, I thought it was going to be a bit dull and difficult to get into, but it's actually very, very good. I've only played career mode because I like playing career modes of stuff. And I like pretending that I am actually that person and I'm actually having a decent career, which is something I've never had. So, you know, it's nice to get in that it's nice to know what it feels like to have a decent career. And I've started at Renault. I have to admit something here. I simmed most of the second season with Renault because I got bored. That was only me getting bored of driving a yellow car, though, not bored of the game. I just got bored of the colour yellow.
Okay.
That's quite hard for people to understand, but it's just something that I get sometimes. I just get bored of really basic things, and I had to get out of it. But there's a really nice way of progressing in this game, because probably the best way to play this game actually is to start off in a rubbish car, like a Sauber or a McLaren, for example, and through the practice sessions at the Grand Prix weekends, you can earn points, and those points go into developing the car, and you can make your car better and eventually get it to compete with the big boys if you're patient enough. So I did a lot of upgrades with the Renault, and by the end of my time with Renault, I had a car that was much more reliable, and it was competing in the top 5 fairly regularly. For it was splitting the Red Bulls up and occasionally beating a Ferrari and making Force India's life difficult. So it was a really interesting process, and I managed to win 2 races with Renault. I won that one in Canada that I told you about, King, that I was really lucky to win.
Yeah.
And then I won another lucky race because it was, and this is another good part about this game, by the way, dynamic weather. And it was at Monza. And so we had a rainy qualifying session that suddenly went dry. And the grid lineup was Carlos Sainz on pole, Bottas in second, and third, Pascal Wehrlein in the Sauber. And I had managed to stick it in 4th, and basically I thought, I could probably do those 2 cars on the run down to the first corner. So I overfueled the car for the race strategy and put it in mix 3, rich mix, jumped him off the line, and I got stuck behind Carlos Sainz for a bit, but eventually managed to overtake him, and eventually managed to win my second race. So I haven't probably won a race on merit yet, because I've been lucky to sort of, get the results I have, but it kind of feels more immersive because of that. It feels more immersive because of the weather changes and the random stuff that happens on the grid. And my first race with Red Bull, we had another dynamic weather qualifying session problem, and me and Daniel Ricciardo were 3 seconds off the rest of the entire grid in 19th and 20th place because we had got it completely wrong. So and that was quite funny. The Red Bull's right.
So you moved to Red Bull then? Is the
yeah?
Is the takeaway point there?
Yeah. Well, at the end of the season, you get contract offers after Silverstone, which is the midpoint of the season, and at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And I had offers when I was at Renault, but they were really crap offers. I got offered the second driver seat at Sauber.
Deservedly so.
Which is like just going to work for Yodel or something. And I got the second driver seat offer for some other shit team as well. I think it might have been Haas or something. And I thought there's no point moving. Although seeing how good you could make a Sauber would be a really good team mode, career mode to do. And Red Bull, you get enhanced offers sometimes. So I got an enhanced offer from Red Bull to be the first driver, which I thought meant that I was going to replace Ricciardo, but Ricciardo actually stayed and Max went.
Okay.
But he's actually in prison. According to my role-playing of this game, he's now in prison for headbutting journalists, like you said he would in the press conference the other day.
Yeah.
So, big dunk style from Everton.
Yeah.
So, it's been great. Really, really good game. You get to drive classic cars as well as part of the career mode.
Cool.
And this guy turns up in career mode who is the most unlikable character I've ever seen in a video game. He's meant to be likable. They're meant to be this cool rich guy who's got, old Formula cars to do events on.
Yeah.
He's just a complete dickhead. Whoever's acted as him has just acted like a complete dickhead and made him sound like just a horrible, horrible and I hate him.
More unlikable than Jim Beglin's commentary on Pro Evo?
Yes. By quite a substantial margin, I would say.
Oh my Christ.
Awful, awful character. But they've modelled the classic cars and got the engine sounds and stuff absolutely spot on. So it's really immersive. Like, you got cars from 80s, 90s and noughties, basically.
Okay.
Up to the latest, I think, is the 2010 Red Bull that, Vettel took championship wins in. But all the engine sounds are absolutely immense. So the 2004 Ferrari, for example, really noisy V10, and the way they handle is completely different and stuff, obviously. And then you've got 1992 Williams car as well and stuff. And yeah, the only thing with the classic cars is they don't have damage on. It spoils the immersion a bit because the damage for the modern cars is really, really well done, I think. Little bits breaking off wings and carbon going everywhere and stuff, and floppy wheels if you knock your wheel off, that kind of thing. good puncher graphics as well. There's virtual safety car and real safety car as well that come out. Mechanical failures, so it feels really, really immersive. It's easily the best F1 game I've played. So if you haven't picked it up, because some of the other F1 games that have come out in recent years have been a bit shit, F1 2017 is well worth picking up. I kind of wish I'd reviewed it a bit sooner.
I presume that maybe with the classic cars, they don't have as much data to work on in terms of producing accurate damage, perhaps.
Yeah, but I don't think it's too hard to make a wheel fall off. But, of course...
Well, not if you're driving, no.
The only thing with the classics is they didn't have the tethers for the wheels, did they? So you'd have to model a wheel physics for it bouncing down the track and stuff, probably, if it came off, instead of, just hanging off. So maybe that was a bit difficult for them, but it's a bit of a shame. And, maybe they didn't want to show old cars getting badly damaged because people used to die all the time in them. So
maybe.
There is that as well. So
yeah, to be fair, it would probably be quite poor if you could drive the. I don't know if it's available, but if you could drive the Ayrton Senna Williams and then make it explode,
yeah,
that would probably be in poor taste, really, wouldn't it?
That would be in poor taste. Yeah, there would be. There's no cars from the 1994 season, which I think is interesting because it was such a horrible season for everybody involved. But there's a 92, the 1995 Ferrari, which is a nice sounding. I think that was the last of the V12s, maybe.
Berger and a Lacey Ferrari.
Yeah, Berger and Lacey Ferrari. They've got all the sponsors stripped off, so they don't look exactly how they did. Like, there's no 27, 28 numbers on them or anything.
Right.
Because obviously most of them were covered in tobacco advertising. But I've always said this, bring back tobacco advertising. I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know why you can't have tobacco adverts, and the same for alcohol adverts as well. Because you know what? How many kids are drinking alcohol and smoking already? Most of them. Ben started smoking when he was 5 years old. So, I don't see why we can't have, that money brought back into the sport. So, great game. 8 out of 10 game, definitely.
Ooh.
Yep, that's a high mark for me. So, go out and get it if it's cheap, because it's you'll get plenty of hours of fun out of it. And maybe next time I'll tell you if I can actually win a championship with the Red Bull, because that's going to be quite difficult to do, because Mercedes are going to win all the time. Mercedes, fucking Mercedes, really annoying. Welcome back, listeners. You're in the right place for some hot game show action right now. Sit your ass down and listen to this.
Deadliest Boot Spaces.
Today we're comparing two more voluminous spaces in litres and deciding which is the more deadly, because if you drink 6 litres of water you'll die. Go home and try it, see what happens. You'll be dead.
Please don't, just in case Johnny's right for a change.
Go on, do it. So today we're comparing the volume of 4 elephants' bladders to the boot spaces of 2 Bentley Continental GTs.
Ooh,
now that's a tricky one, isn't it?
Haven't we done elephants' bladders before?
Don't know. Don't care.
We've definitely done dogs, because that was last time, or the time before. We've definitely done bladders.
We've done dog piss before. Piss is a particularly favourite subject.
No, I'm sure we did an elephant.
Oh, okay. Well, you should remember then, King.
It's fairly common knowledge how big an elephant's bladder is, from what I can tell. I think most people know how big an elephant's bladder is.
Do they?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think
they do, yeah. Okay. I don't know if they know it in litres, but I think it's fairly common knowledge what it is.
Yeah, because it's quite a round number, as it were.
It's gallons. They normally measure animal bladders in. Well, large animals anyway.
Is it like when you measure a horse in hands? It's kind of like, it's just kind of everyone knows.
Although I don't know how many people they have to get to stand next to a horse to do that, because we've only got 2 hands per person. So if a horse is several hands high, you're going to need the vet, the owner, the stable boy, the wife, the country housewife who's always there, looking out the window and making things.
What?
And maybe the vet's driver as well. Maybe, just saying. It'd be easier if they measured it in another way, really, like maybe with a big stick or something. But anyway, we digress.
Like a big stick.
Yeah, you put markings on it.
So like a ruler.
Get a stick and lay it next to your hand, and then you can mark hands with a stick, and then you use that. I wonder if they've already done that. No, they wouldn't have thought of that yet. But anyway, yeah. So
what was the car again? The Bentley Continental, did you say?
2 Bentley Continental GTs.
Yeah.
So we know how big an elephant bladder is. So
Yeah, when you know what it is in gallons, you probably don't know what it is in litres. But if you know gallons to litres, that's good. But I didn't think you would.
No.
So, but yeah, if you know an elephant's bladder size, which is fairly...
Yeah, it's common knowledge.
Yeah,
42 gallons.
fairly common knowledge, I think, yeah. Most people I know the size of an elephant's bladder.
So 42 gallons.
I got to go with the Bentleys.
You reckon there's more than 42 gallons?
Didn't you? How many elephants was it?
Well, it's 4 elephants.
4 elephants and 2 Bentleys.
2 Bentleys.
I reckon the Bentleys. I reckon you're trying to swizzle us with these elephants.
I'm going elephants. They have got massive bladders.
They have got massive bladders, and actually, Ben, you're right on this occasion because
they have a massive drinking straw, don't they? So
they do. It is a hell of a straw.
Because they need to absorb, they have to take in so much water for their huge bladders. It's fine.
An elephant's bladder is 191 litres, basically.
Yeah, 42 gallons.
Yeah, I think something like that. And a Bentley Continental GT, which is a Grand Tourer, by the way, only has 358 litres of boot space, which isn't much, really, for a Grand Tourer. So 4 elephants is 764 litres, and 2 Bentley Continental GTs is 716.
Ooh.
So they're quite a way off, actually. So, yeah, if you want to travel across Europe, take 4 elephants and stuff their bladders full of your belongings, and then do what Hannibal did and, walk across some mountains.
Good call.
Enjoy yourself. Yep.
Well, I'm surprised. I really thought you were trying to bewitch us with the elephants.
No, King, I wasn't. King. I was actually doing it properly. So there.
I mean, you're comparing the boot space of a car to the bladder size of 4 elephants. It's not exactly doing it properly, is it?
Have you seen an elephant having a piss, though? Oh, did you know, by the way, that all mammals piss at the same speed?
22 seconds? 24 seconds, is it?
No.
24 seconds? That sounds quite a long time.
To empty the bladder?
I can't remember exactly what it is, but yeah, all animals piss at the same rate.
Yeah, we discussed it last time you brought up elephants. That's why I remember the elephant thing, because we were comparing dogs to elephants.
I remember things from episode 3.
King, you trying to out a conspiracy theory that Smooth Traffic just recycle content?
Yeah, fuck you, King.
It's not a conspiracy theory. It's damn hard fact. That's what it is.
I wrote Time Stain!
Anyway, next on Smooth Traffic, One Tank to Frank.
Johnny and Rob attempt to take a Honda CR-V from London to Frankfurt on 1 tank of fuel.
Was that episode 2?
2 or 3, yeah. I think 2 was the preview and 3 was the yay, we made it and didn't die.
Oh, that was when we found out that you'd been driving at 35 mile an hour on the motorway to conserve fuel.
It was because of the weather, Ben!
Oh, the weather. Oh my god, the weather.
The weather was awful.
Kingy just likes letting van drivers in front of him there, doesn't he? Come past.
Oh, come on, Ben, get your facts right. It was lorry drivers that you were taking the piss out of, not van drivers. Pfft.
Yeah, he likes to wave at lorry drivers a lot. Pretty sure he meets up with some of them in the services.
Yeah, we all go to Folkestone and do massive shits together.
And spread up the walls.
Oh, fucking Folkestone, what a dump.
Ooh, I wonder what the score is. Robert King.
8.
Ben Pearce.
It's out the ground for a 6.
So there we go. The 48th episode of Smooth Traffic, one of the all-time great podcasts, has come to an end. Like the podcast? Tell us about it. Subscribe. Write a review. Give us fucking money. Any of those things is greatly appreciated. And if you would like to buy some tin Smooth Traffic shit, please do. Well, probably don't tweet us because you probably don't want to admit to that in public. Send us an email or a fax at the addresses you already know. That's all we need to tell them, really, isn't it, King, Ben? We just say, do stuff at the end because it helps, and that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the end of the episode. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry. We've done our best. We've done our best to make this podcast.
Have we?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't. No, that's a lie. Yeah. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.